It seemed like gas prices were on the decline, and then in the last 6 months or so, we've seen, or maybe 3 months, we've seen an increase. But things have steadied out a bit, have they not?
Yeah, yes, they have. And, this morning, our local price here in United County is about $2.69. And when I look around adjoining counties, which I look at every day, the lowest price is believe it or not, right here. We're looking at, as far as locally, but we're the same price as Madison County. Herkimer's at $2.72, and Shenango County and Otsego County is at $2.73. Onondaga County, of course, is always a little bit cheaper, and they're at $2.64 this morning. But when you look around the state of New York, the cheapest gas in New York State as of this morning is in Cattaraugus County at $2.60 a gallon is the average price, and the most expensive is in Westchester County at $2.90.
Oh my goodness!
So there's your variance across the state. If you think of one end to the other, and you look at where we're at, Cattaraugus County is always cheaper on the PA border. They're generally one of the cheapest places in the state, even if Buffalo's prices are higher, which is not that far away, obviously.
Yeah. And is that the case because they have to compete with lower gas prices in Pennsylvania?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's also the reason why Syracuse is lower, because they don't want all the traffic just to bypass the city on 81.
Right.
Because if you're trucking or you're coming from the North Country, you probably can get down to Binghamton on the same tank of gas. So they try to get you to make sure you stop, and that's why you see the prices always lower, a little bit more lower in Syracuse than they are here. Again, it depends where you shop.
I want to ask you, as we're getting into that time of year, what is the rule for studded snow tires?
April.
Yeah.
So April 30th they have to be off.
Okay.
So I think fortunately, maybe after today we don't need them, but April 30th is when they got to be off. And Bill, when we talk about the price of gas going up, you're absolutely correct. But what's interesting, we're paying 3 cents a gallon less than we were on the same day last year.
Okay, how about that? How quickly we forget, right?
Well, you know what? When you look at the forecast coming up for the spring, so to speak, from now until we'll just say the summer driving season, which really kicks off on Memorial Day weekend, we're going to look at its prices fairly similar to what we saw last year. But what's interesting is I think May is going to be the highest prices of the year. Believe it or not, I think the summertime prices are actually going to drop.
They are, okay. We are going into that summer grade of gas, which that increases the price to begin with, right?
It does, and they start making that in May or March. What we didn't have this year was our inventories weren't that high going out of winter. So what you didn't have is this huge glut of gasoline hanging around where they would just dump it on the market in March to get rid of it, which would generally lower the prices.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 years, we've seen them controlling their inventories a lot tighter in that regard. So when you switch over, there is an increase, and it's got to do with the pressure of the gasoline, and it's called Reid vapor pressure, R-E-I-D. And what happens is, you remember the old cars with carburetors in the summertime, it was called vapor lock.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, it's still can happen with an old carbureted engine. But what happens is if they have to lower the pressure of the gasoline in the summertime. Otherwise, just like in your gas can in your shed at home in the summertime, you see that thing start to expand when it's tightened up and it gets hot. So if they don't control the pressure in the gasoline, you'd have a lot of problems with the fuel systems. And the other issue is around the country, they have to make different blends for different places. So you've got these boutique blends across the country. You want to control smog in the bigger cities. You want to control Reid vapor pressure. So different parts of the country burn different types of gas, believe it or not, as far as internally the way the gas is designed.
Yeah.
All burns the same in your car, but to meet local conditions. This is why there's such a big variance in gas prices in the summertime. One of the reasons why the West Coast is always higher is they use a blend that's more expensive to produce.
Well, there you have stabilized gas prices. Not bad. And as you say this, Ed, 3 cents lower than this time last year. So
on the same day, and of course, Bill, a few months back, we talked about Venezuela.
Yeah.
And, one of the things you said was you were wondering whether or not it was going to have an effect on prices. And at that time, I didn't think it would. But again, things change over a period of months.
Yeah.
A year ago, Venezuela and Iran were not under embargo. And of course, they both are today.
Right.
So we will see if that has an effect on the prices going forward or not. The next big date on the oil calendar, barring any major wars or geopolitical instability someplace, is June 25th and 26th. That's when the OPEC guys are going to meet again to decide whether they're going to continue curtailing their production or not.
Okay. All right. We'll keep an eye on that. Actually, we really won't. We'll keep an eye on you and rely on you to give us that detail, those details. Ed Welch, as always, we appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for having me on this morning, and everybody drive carefully this morning and buckle up.